An island that's not too crowded with the most amazing landscapes formed by 7 volcanoes and the most amount of turtles I have seen in one dive. Camiguin is unlike any other island. As the second smallest province in the Philippines, located in the northern part of Mindanao, exploring the whole island can be done in a short amount of time. Here we visited 6 destinations in under 2 days. To get there, you can book a flight directly to Camiguin Airport. In our case, our host resort generously provided a private speedboat. So I was just invited here by our host resort. It's the most luxurious accommodation in this island, and I'm glad I said yes.
Okay, so we're in the lobby of Nuvo, and today we are going to Mantigue Island. So Mantigue is just a few minutes away from here. You can actually see it from the restaurant, and they say that the sand there is white. It's more white than Boracay sand, but it's not as powdery as Boracay. Okay, so we are in Mantigue Island, just a few minutes away from the main island of Camiguin right there, and we were able to free dive a bit earlier. We saw a lot of marine life there, just a few minutes from the shore. You can see a lot of soft corals and anemone, and my favorite one is the turtles.
No idea I'd be seeing this many turtles in one spot. These sea turtles are vital to the ecosystem for maintaining a healthy coral reef and even controlling jellyfish population. But more than that, I think they're super cute. After that, we had a quick lunch at this floating restaurant by the Taguins Lagoon and headed to our next destination, where I found an icon to the identity of Camiguin. This is Katibawasan Falls, one of the most famous waterfalls here, and it's very high and narrow. It's surrounded by vegetation, and the scenery here is effortlessly stunning. But while exploring this place, something else caught my attention.
Okay, so this is the Katibawasan Falls here in Camiguin. Whoa! So I don't know if you can see this, but this is a lanzones tree. And the special thing here in Camiguin is they have one of the sweetest lanzones in the country, and that's actually one of my favorite fruits to eat. They told me that the reason why it's very sweet here is because this place has a lot of volcanic activity, which really affects the soil where these fruits are grown on.
This place is the Lanzones capital of the Philippines, and they even celebrate the Lanzones festival every October. But the volcanoes leave more than just sweet fruit, because this once haunted this island. For the next destination, we are going to another iconic Camiguin special. So buckle up as we hop on another boat to this island.
Okay, so we are in White Island here in Camiguin. It's just this long stretch of sand. It's like a big sandbar.
The water here is so clear, the sand is almost blindingly white, especially with the sun directly above you.
Make sure to bring an umbrella if you're going here, because there are no trees, no shade to protect you from the sun. So ideally, you should go here like around 5 a.m. But right now, it's actually almost 11 p.m. right now, so the sun is a bit harsh to the skin.
But what makes this special is you get a full view of the majestic volcanic peaks just across while having fun in the water. But the sun is too hot for me at that point, so let's move on to our next destination.
This is Tuasan Falls here in Camiguin.
The last two places we'll visit are actually my favorite experiences in Camiguin, but let's have another beautiful waterfall for you to check out.
As you can see, you can go really up close to the foot of the falls, and it's just this really strong and raging force of nature.
One thing you'll notice here is the access to the falls in Camiguin is really effortless and doesn't require any long hikes. So it's perfect for the families to explore.
This place is called the Old Church Ruins here in Camiguin. It's what's left from an intense volcanic eruption back then, and this looks really ancient, and it's like a haunting reminder of the past.
There was a volcanic eruption that happened here in 1871. This eruption destroyed the first Spanish settlement that thrived on this island and wiped out this church and the Sunken Cemetery, which will be our final destination for this video. So I wasn't able to find much info on the 1871 eruption by Mount Volcan. This is supposed to be a lava dome for the bigger and still active volcano, Mount Hibok-Hibok. This one had erupted again in 1951, causing thousands of fatalities and tons of horror stories. So back then, when the people of Camiguin were neglecting the church, neglecting their faith, the elders would look at the horizon with fear and mutter the words, "The volcano will get angry." I read that in this Times article written in 1951, which paints a picture of what life was like during that time. But out of the devastation, something incredible began to unfold.
Okay, so we are approaching the Sunken Cemetery. It's one of the most iconic places here in Camiguin.
This is the Sunken Cemetery, and this is a cross that the locals raise to commemorate and remember their ancestors now underwater. But let's see if we can still see the remains of the cemetery. Along the way, we saw some giant clams, or taklobo as we call it here in the Philippines. After that, we got to see a huge concrete cross covered in algae. An old relic from the cemetery that once was above the land. After the violent catastrophe in 1951, the frustration of not having the tools and knowledge to handle volcanic crises like this led to the creation of the Commission on Volcanology, which evolved into what we now know as the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. And because of the creation of this organization, the Philippines was more equipped and ready for one of the biggest volcanic eruptions in history, the Mount Pinatubo explosion of 1991. Tens of thousands of lives were saved because of early monitoring and evacuations, as it was considered one of the most successful hazard mitigation efforts of this kind. So as the trip comes to an end, we witnessed one of the most beautiful sunsets in Camiguin. Through this trip, I saw how beautiful this island is, its dark past, but also a fruitful redemption and a hopeful future. Each destination of the Philippines carries with them a story that's full of color and lessons to learn from. So I want to thank you for being here, for supporting our work, and I hope this will motivate you to travel the Philippines with purpose. Maraming salamat.